Why is contact such a mystery? It could be because most tennis videos on YouTube and most coaching is telling you what you need to do with your arm, and they're not showing you what you need to do at contact to make that shot better. When coaching does talk about contact, they talk about brushing the ball. And when you're brushing the ball, it gets a very wispy sound to it. But if you've ever seen pro tennis in person, one of the things that really sticks out to you is that the sound of their ball sounds like a boom. It sounds like they have a solid contact, and if you do happen to hear brush, that's a side benefit. But what you're really hearing is compression of the ball. If you're only thinking about brushing it, you're never going to produce that sound with your racket. And without that sound on your racket, without you compressing the ball, you're never going to get the easy power, easy depth, easy control that you're looking for. So even as your swing improves, even as you think you're doing the right thing with your arm, you are still going to be looking for what can improve your shot because there's something that's missing. I used to watch the Rick Macy Pat the Dog video a lot, and I thought that was really eye-opening about what you're doing to get the racket to accelerate to go hit the ball. But one of the things I always wondered about was, after I get the racket going, what am I doing at contact? How am I going to make that shot better? In order to improve your shot after you get your racket moving, you need to think about throwing the ball. And this is a different concept than brushing it, because brushing sometimes is even taught that the racket face is even closed a little bit so that you're brushing up the back of it, and it's going to be the swing path that is going to be lifting it and getting it over the net for you. But like I already said, when you're brushing it like that, you're never able to get the ball to come off your racket with the force that you're looking for. What you want to do is throw the ball. And since you're unfamiliar with that concept, it's going to sound confusing right now, and it's going to even break what you assume to be good tennis contact. To practice this, I want you to get a ball, and I want you to just be able to throw it to the other side of the court. I want you to be able to get it to the baseline across the court without really doing anything. You want the least amount of effort possible to send it to the other side. And so that's going to be going from a palm up position to a palm down position. I can accelerate the racket with very little speed from my arm. I can go from here to here and send it all the way across the court. You want to get used to going from a palm up position to a palm down position. This doesn't look like a tennis swing because I'm going directly forward as I'm doing that. When I want to have this turn into my tennis swing, I'm going to think about accelerating out away from me and having it transition to a palm down position. I'm going to move from this palm up position, which is going to have my racket pointing to my backside away from me, and then I'm going to have it transition to a palm down position with the racket tip in front of me. The swing is trying to get your arm to fall into this palm up position and accelerate to get to this palm down position. From here, I am throwing the ball with very little effort and being able to get it to the other side of the court. When you're first going to try it, because you're not familiar with it, you're not going to trust that you need to open up the racket face more. You're going to think that you still need to be brushing it, and you're going to be wondering how you're going to send the ball deeper and higher. So you're going to see it, and you're going to be right here and trying to use your arm. The last thing you want to do right now is using your arm. You want to just get comfortable, and you want to understand what you're doing to create that racket head speed. And remember, it's going away from you. I'm not trying to come up close to me right here, because the swing path is going closer to us, which is on the inside, and it's going to be accelerating to the outside before flipping over. So I'm coming from here to here, and I can throw it to the other side. Once you get familiar with it, it will feel like you're throwing the ball. But when you don't understand that technique, throwing is not going to make sense because you've always been told to brush the ball. You want to get used to throwing the ball. So that is going to mean having the racket face open a little bit more, make contact so that you're able to throw it up right there with very little effort. And once you start applying that to your swing, you're going to be able to have easy depth and easy power. If somebody hits a good shot to you, you're not going to stress because you know how to accelerate your racket with very little effort. I can be here and I can throw it to the other side of the court. So remember, the swing wants you to get from your starting position, and as you transition your body to start the swing, the racket falls back so that the tip of it is pointing behind you. And once you get there, you are now in your palm up position. From the palm up position, you've mostly done the big work with your body, so you can be pretty still through this part. Your weight still might be transferring forward, your hips are going to be rotating a little bit more at the end, but you're focused on getting to this palm up position with your racket pointing back. Once you are here, you are able to just accelerate, sending the hand to a palm down position. Now I have caused the tip of the racket to move much faster than my arm, and that's what we call racket head speed. Racket head speed is the acceleration of the tip of it over what your arm is doing. My arm can be moving very slow, but from this position to this position, the tip of the racket traveled a much further distance. When you get comfortable with this, now your follow through is actually going to improve and be easier to do. One of the things that happens with beginners is they might want to finish up high over their shoulder, but their swing path is low, and then it's not until the very end that they decide to lift up. You need to get used to the swing path allowing you to get to that position. It's going to be sending it there on its own, not an afterthought to lift up at the very end. And by doing the palm up to palm down position, when you do this, you want the tip of the racket to be at least head level, if not above head level. When you watch pros swing, when you watch them hit, the tip of the racket is rarely ever at shoulder level. They are always releasing up high because they need to lift the ball before going over. Once you get comfortable with that, your follow through is going to also improve. So we're learning how to get easy power and depth with a lower effort swing. And with that lower effort swing, we're making better contact, and that better contact is producing a faster, heavier ball. What's difficult to understand is that you're not just learning how to moonball. I don't want you to be the person on court who can only throw up high lobs. We're learning about contact. We're learning how to have a good shot with the least amount of effort. Once I get comfortable having this throw over easily, I can easily start applying that to a full swing. I can be here and send it to the other side with very little effort. I can go here and throw through the ball. I want to feel like I'm able to throw the racket and throw the ball, sending it to the other side with very little effort. Once you start getting comfortable with that, you're going to understand what racket head speed is, and you're going to see that you don't need to physically put in so much stress and effort with your body when you know how to accelerate the racket through your contact zone. Accelerating the racket with racket head speed is not something that you need a lot of muscle for. You just need to start the momentum going and then understand how to snap through that. If you're practicing without your racket, one of the things you can do is have your palm up and think about snapping and sending your palm from a palm up position to a palm down position. Oftentimes when people are practicing it, they're trying to be delicate with it though. You're going here and then they're trying to see and control everything. You don't want this to be controlled through the contact point. You want to get used to snapping and flipping that over quickly. So you can still be loose. Oftentimes loose is a great way to describe what your arm is going to be doing. But after you're loose, what are you doing? How are you going to use that looseness to provide more power, more spin, more depth, more control? In order to use that looseness, you need to be allowing yourself to go from a palm up position, which has the racket pointing behind you, to a palm down position, which is having the tip of the racket point out toward your opponent. From here, you're able to follow through up high over your shoulder, or wherever you're choosing to do on that shot. So I can practice moving from a palm up position to a palm down position, and I want to get that fast. And the faster I'm able to do that, the easier I'm going to be able to rip the ball through the court. And if somebody hits a good shot to me, I might not have enough time to rip it, but I will know how to accelerate the racket, and racket head speed is going to help my control as well as my power and my depth. As a side note, it's not important that you pat the dog. It's only important that you get to a palm up position so that you can get to a palm down position once you're past contact. If you're here and you're used to that, that's great. If you're here and you're set up, you don't need to think about having this be the first move that happens so that you are loosening your body. You want to get to a palm up position right here. So you can be out of your starting position, and when your body starts to transfer its weight and your hips start to rotate, you just want to focus on getting the racket to fall back behind you. Once this falls back behind me, I'm in my palm up position. From here, I've done the big work with my body. All this movement that's happening is happening before I swing moving forward to it. The first move of my racket is that it's falling back, not pushing to the ball. As this falls back and I get to a palm up position, now I'm focused on getting my palm into a palm down position, and I have accelerated through the contact zone. So I can move from here, transition my body, and now I can be stable as I drive through my contact zone to produce the easy power, easy depth, easy spin. The other aspect that makes a big difference in how fast you're able to accelerate your racket is getting the racket tip to point behind you. If my racket tip is just going perpendicular to the baseline, meaning straight back to the back fence, I can't accelerate it as well as if I have fully let my palm come up and have the racket pointing behind my body. From here, now I'm at one end of the spectrum and I'm able to accelerate to the other end as I snap through contact. Once you start learning how to throw the ball, you're going to start having that easy power that I've been trying to talk about. In today's game, there are many different types of swings. If you're comparing today's swing to the old time tennis when they were playing with wooden rackets, then it looks like a different swing. But contact is roughly the same. What you need to do to produce faster racket head speed is roughly the same. It doesn't matter how your swing looks, it doesn't matter what your grip is. The principle of coming from a palm up position to a palm down position is what is getting faster racket head acceleration. When you're working on staying loose, if you're not sure why some of them come off good and some of them don't, it's because you need to focus on going from a palm up position to a palm down position. Stay loose, but understand what you need to do with that looseness. In order to do this motion, I'm not doing anything special with my wrist. I'm not bending it one way or the other. I'm not moving my hand up and down. There's nothing of this happening. There's nothing of this happening. I'm simply moving from a neutral position with my wrist, allowing myself to go from a palm up position to a palm down position. This shouldn't hurt your body, this shouldn't hurt your wrist. You don't need to have anything go too fast. When you're getting there, you're just interested in getting from a palm up position to a palm down position by the time you're finished. Don't put any more stress on your wrist or your joints than you need to. You're going to be here and just allowing it to accelerate through the ball. Remember, you want to have it point behind your body, and you are having it accelerate away from you as opposed to accelerating up right in front of you. So we're trying to send the racket away, and then we are moving to a palm up position. Here to here. Once you start getting comfortable with that, your swing will start to improve.